It started with a moment of silence, the kind that tells you something big is about to happen. On live television, Rachel Reeves, the polished and confident Labour frontbencher, sat across from a man who was never afraid of confrontation, Ant Middleton, the former SAS soldier turned TV personality. Known for his no-nonsense approach, Middleton wasn't there to play politics. Within minutes, what began as a calm policy discussion turned into one of the most explosive on-air clashes Britain has seen all year. The topic was simple: leadership, accountability, and the cost of living crisis. Reeves started strong, speaking about Labour's economic plan and how the government had failed working families. But Middleton leaned in, his tone sharp, cutting through her rehearsed lines. "You talk about leadership, Rachel," he said, "but leadership isn't about slogans, it's about guts. Where's the guts in British politics today?" The studio fell silent. Reeves blinked, visibly caught off guard. This wasn't the usual soft political interview, this was a cross-examination. Middleton didn't stop there. He questioned her directly about the promises Labour had made but never clearly explained how they'd deliver. "You say you'll fix the economy, help families, rebuild trust, but how? With words? Because all I hear from politicians are words. If I ran a team like that in the SAS, we'd all be dead." The audience gasped. Reeves tried to regain control, responding with a polished line about fiscal discipline and responsibility, but Middleton wasn't interested in soundbites. He interrupted, saying bluntly, "Responsibility means owning the truth, not dressing it up in speeches." As the tension escalated, you could see the shift in Reeves' expression, from confidence to discomfort. Middleton brought up Labour's shifting positions over the years, accusing the party of saying whatever suited the moment. One day it's tax the rich, the next day it's support business. One day you back the people, the next you back the system. Which one is it, Rachel? His words hit like punches. Reeves tried to maintain composure, but even her carefully trained voice wavered slightly. By now, the host barely needed to intervene. The conversation had become its own battleground. Middleton went on, drawing parallels between military leadership and political cowardice. "When you're out in the field, you don't get to make excuses. You make decisions. You stand by them. You don't flip because a poll changes or a headline scares you. Britain doesn't need another politician who hides behind committees. It needs someone who can actually lead." Reeves attempted to turn the tables, accusing Middleton of oversimplifying politics and grandstanding. But that only gave him an opening. "No, Rachel," he said firmly, "I'm simplifying truth. Politics isn't complicated, it's just become dishonest. People are struggling, families are drowning in bills, and all they get are promises for long-term plans. How about a short-term plan that actually helps them survive the next month?" It was the kind of raw challenge few politicians ever face, live, unfiltered, and impossible to deflect. The clip began to trend online even before the broadcast ended. Viewers flooded social media, calling it the moment someone finally said what everyone's thinking. Some praised Middleton for his courage, calling him the voice of the people. Others criticized his tone, saying he disrespected an elected official. But whether you loved him or hated him, one thing was certain: he'd touched a nerve. Insiders later revealed that Reeves' team hadn't anticipated Middleton's line of questioning. They'd expected a motivational talk about leadership, not a forensic breakdown of Labour's credibility. One producer even claimed that after the cameras cut, Reeves was visibly furious, accusing Middleton of turning the segment into a political ambush. But for Middleton, that was the whole point. He'd exposed what he saw as the emptiness behind the polished surface of modern politics. As political analysts dissected the exchange, the takeaway became clear: people are losing patience with words. The public doesn't want more politicians promising change, they want people who can embody it. Middleton's fiery honesty struck a chord because it came from lived experience, from someone who'd faced real danger, real consequences, and understood what accountability actually means. Even days later, the fallout continued. Reeves avoided public interviews for a short time, while Labour strategists scrambled to control the narrative. But it was too late, the clip had already become a cultural flashpoint. In pubs, workplaces, and living rooms, people replayed Middleton's line again and again: "Britain doesn't need another politician. It needs a leader." In a political landscape built on spin, this moment was something raw, almost primal. It wasn't about left or right, Labour or Conservative. It was about truth versus theatre. And for a brief, electrifying moment, it felt like the mask of politics had slipped. The question now is, after being publicly dismantled by a soldier on live TV, will Rachel Reeves and her party learn to fight with honesty, or will Britain's next election prove that real leadership no longer lives in Westminster at all?